Now this has already been a pretty long and comprehensive section because we covered a lot of crucial Go concepts. Now to come to an end for this section, there is one last important concept that also belongs to the Go essentials, you could say. And that would be the concept of working with control structures, which are things you can use in your code that allow you to control which code executes under which circumstances. Now to learn about this control structures feature here, I'm in a brand new project, an empty folder, and as a first step, I'll therefore run go mod init and give this a path like example.com bank, because we'll build a dummy, simple banking application that will allow us to explore this control structures feature. So with that executed, we can then add a file here, and I'll name it bank.go. Now in here, we'll start by adding this to the main package, and by adding this main function, which we always need as you learned. And now my idea here is to build an application that asks the user in the command line which operation they want to perform. Check their balance, deposit money, or withdraw money. And then once the user chooses an action, we might ask for further input and then perform that action. And this then runs in an infinite loop, basically, so that the user can continue interacting with this application until they're done and they choose exit. We'll also make sure to check for invalid inputs. For example, if they try to withdraw a negative amount, or if they try to withdraw more money than they have on their account. So that's the dummy application we'll build here. And therefore, as a first step, we can get started here by using some of the things we already learned about. Like, for example, importing the FMT package so that we can show some text on the screen. Because of course we want to welcome the user and ask them what they want to do. So we can, in the main function, use FMT to print a new line where we, for example, say, welcome to GoBank. Something like this. And then thereafter we can print another new line where we say, what do you want to do? And then thereafter I want to show them their options. So we'll print more new lines here. And for example, give them their first option, which is to check the balance. Then I'll give them a second option, which is to deposit money. A third option, which is to withdraw money. And a fourth and last option, which is to exit this application. So that's the text that should be shown on the screen when the application starts. Therefore, of course, if we save this and we run this application, we get that output. Thereafter, the application exits though at the moment. This code does not run in an infinite loop. We don't continue showing this to the user. And we'll make sure that this is the case later. At the moment, it of course exits because we're done after going through all these lines of code here. But we'll now change this. And we'll start by getting the user input and then taking a look at that input to perform different actions depending on which choice the user made. So to get that user input, we can add a new variable, which could be called choice, and which could be of type int, because it should be 1, 2, 3, or 4, no float or anything like that. And we can then use FMT scan, as you learned, and pass a pointer to choice to that, so that choice is populated with the number the user entered. And then for the moment, just to see that this works, we can of course output a new line where we say your choice, and then thereafter we output choice. With that, we can run the code, of course. Now it waits for us to enter something. So here, for example, I can type 1 and hit enter, and I see your choice 1. Now, of course, though, it would be nice if we had some info text when it waits for our input that tells us what we have to do. And therefore here, before getting that user input, I'll actually use print, not println, so that we stay on the same line. And I'll say your choice, colon, so that we show this text to the user when we're asking for their input. So that's the basic code. Now we, of course, have to do different things based on the input entered by the user.